Okay, so the live stream is up and so Mr. Fisher, if you want to start the meeting, that would be great.
Thank you, Kim. So I'm gonna share my screen. Hopefully, everyone see that? Kim, is that okay?
Yep, that's great.
So thanks everyone for taking the time out of your evening to attend this public participation opportunity. You should see tonight's agenda. There's two items on the agenda. The first is an application for a development agreement at 11 Victor Avenue, and the second is also for a development agreement at 15 Clinton Street. So I'll start I'll start just by mentioning the process. So this is a public participation opportunity. There's a process for development agreements. The first is to hold an advertised public participation opportunity. And so I'll give a summary of the proposal, touch a little bit on the relevant town policies. And then we'll take the input that we receive, provide a summary and a copy of the video to the Planning Advisory Committee. They'll consider a recommendation to council. And then council will consider first reading and schedule a public hearing. And so there'll be another advertised opportunity for the public to provide input. Once the public hearing is over, council will consider second reading. And if approved, then that approval is, notice of that approval is put in a local media, and it sets out 14 days to appeal the decision. And then once that's complete, the agreement can be signed and development and building permits, if applicable, can be issued. So 11 Victor Avenue. So the proposal is for to allow a garden suite within an existing accessory building. And so just the definition of a garden suite is simply a detached second dwelling unit on a residential lot. And so this one sec here. So the application to allow a detached dwelling unit at 11, a second dwelling unit at 11 Victor is defined as a garden suite, and those are permitted only by development agreement. So I will just skip to the visual. This is an aerial map of the neighborhood. You'll see Victor Avenue in the middle. The subject property is identified in the red square. The area surrounding it is basically detached 1 and 2 unit dwellings. Victor Avenue itself is sort of a dead end street, and it terminates at the northwest corner of the sports field of West Highland School, which you can see down to the bottom right of the map. This is a little bit closer picture, zoomed in aerial photo. I apologize that this does not reflect the current. This is pre-construction of the existing accessory building, but you can see this is the lot, and you can see there's some low density detached dwellings surrounding it. And this is the current situation on the lot. So the lot itself is about 12,000 square feet in area. It has as you can see, a single level, a bungalow on it with a 2-story accessory building that was built in 2018. And so, as I mentioned, the permit was issued in 2018 for an 2-story accessory building. One of the restrictions on the permit was that the finished area on the 2nd story of the accessory building cannot be used as a dwelling unit. And what that boils down to is that the kitchen facilities were not to be installed in the property. So the effect of the development agreement, if approved, would be to allow the installation of a full dwelling unit, which would include kitchen facilities, and it would be permitted to be dwelled in. So in terms of in consideration of a development agreement, there are municipal planning strategy policies that apply. The enabling policy is residential policy RP14, and that deals with permits garden suites in all residential areas by development agreement, and it lists a number of considerations, and that it be secondary to the main dwelling on the lot, that it have separate water and sewer services independent from the main dwelling, that there be at least two parking spaces, that it be situated at least 1.2 meters from the side property line and from the main dwelling, and that it be 6 meters from the rear property line. It can't be located in the front yard of the property, and it can't have other accessory uses such as a home occupation or a group home or daycares, that sort of thing. So with respect to this particular proposal, the proposal meets all of these requirements, save for the rear yard setback. So the guidance is for 6 meters. The proposal provides 1.8 meters. So other relevant policies would be residential policy 11 that speaks of encouraging and promoting the provision of affordable housing units, in particular by permitting secondary residential structures such as garden suites on a lot. Residential policy 8 speaks to encouraging a mix of housing types and income groups. And then there's the catch-all A5 policy. Whenever a development agreement or an amendment to a planning document is considered, there's sort of general planning considerations such as that the proposal is not premature or inappropriate by reason of the financial capability of the town to absorb any costs, that there's adequate municipal services, and that there's consideration given to the potential impact on adjacent land uses based on the type of use, the height, bulk, and lot coverage of the proposed building, traffic generation, other planning concerns such as that. So in conclusion, the proposal from staff's perspective is that it generally meets the relevant policies of the municipal planning strategy. The only real discrepancy or deficiency would be the rear yard setback, but that it'll be up to PAC and council to weigh the benefits of the proposal and against this deficiency. So with that, I will I'll open it up to if there's anyone has any questions about it or comments on the proposal. And I don't see anyone. If you're trying to wave your hand, maybe you can physically just wave your hand on the screen. I don't know.
I'm not seeing anyone.
Okay.
For sure.
So we'll move on to the next one. If that's if you think of something, we can go back to it. So the second proposal is for an amendment to an existing development agreement at 15 Clinton Street. The amendment being asked for is to allow a 3-unit converted dwelling to a 4-unit. The property is located in the downtown zone, where the addition of ground floor residential uses is subject to the development agreement. So I'll just skip down to the site and give you the overview of that. So the subject property is the red box on Clinton Street. it's sort of a mixed use neighborhood. There's a number of low density 1-2 unit detached dwellings, and probably a 50% mix of commercial uses. There's a petroleum distribution company at the end of Clinton. Right across the street is a vehicle garage, and I think there's a furniture store and a U-Haul rental facility. This is the subject probably a little closer in. Basically, it is the former Product Finder building that was converted in 2013 to a 3-unit dwelling. Everything on there's significant. All areas of the property are essentially either a building or parking area. So, going to relevant policies. The enabling policy would be C15, and I apologize, only a portion of that is there. So the policy, the preamble on the policy is that it shall be the intention of council to consider applications for ground floor residential uses in the downtown zone by development agreement. And in negotiating the agreement, council out regard for the following. So it speaks of the height, location, height, bulk of the building, the architecture of the building, site issues like signage, parking, landscaping, pedestrian access. Similar to the previous proposal, this rather relevant policies include the affordable housing policy under residential policy 11, residential policy 8 that deals with mixing housing types and income groups, and then the catch-all that sort of deals with all planning issues and the ability of the town to provide services and absorb any costs that are related to it. So as I mentioned, I'll just zip back down and show you. This is the existing building that was developed in 2013 for a 3-unit. The 4th unit, there's no additions to the footprint or the bulk and height of the building being proposed. It's simply a creation of dividing up one of the units into 2. So there'd be really no material difference in approving it. So I guess from a staff perspective, the proposal met the intent of the planning strategy in 2013. There really isn't a significant change there. In terms of response, we did advertise that this public participation meeting was happening. We did receive one written email from a Lorraine Blakeney at 13 Clinton Street, and she wrote, regarding 15 Clinton, we have no problem whatsoever with Larry adding another apartment to his building. He always rents to respectable people, and there are never any problems at all. So that is the quick overview of that, and with that, I'll ask if there are any questions or comments.
Going once, going twice. I'm not seeing any hands or waves, Mr. Fisher. So,
well, if there are no further comments, we'll end it there. I guess I'll just remind you that in terms of the process, the next step would be to provide a summary of this public participation opportunity, along with the staff report and a draft agreements, and forward those to the Planning Advisory Committee, which is usually held the first Monday of each month. So we should see this the first Monday in February, and it would go to council for consideration the 4th Monday of February, I believe, and then we'd be looking at public hearings scheduled for March.
So Mr. Fisher, the we've passed the first Monday in February, so we'll
Yes.
discuss with the chair of the PAC, scheduling a special meeting in advance of the February council, if that's okay.
Certainly okay with me. I think we'd have to have a conversation perhaps after this to discuss the schedule.
Sure.
But with that, if there's no other comments or questions, Kim, I think we can thank everybody for their time.
All right. Thank you,
Thanks,
everybody.
everybody.
We'll end this public participation session. Thank you.
Have a good evening.